Welcome to Wakefield, Michigan, a small Upper Peninsula town with a big history rooted in mining and logging, nestled beside the beautiful Sunday Lake. But today, we're heading just outside town to start a different kind of journey. This trail runs east all the way towards Wisconsin, and along the way, we're set to cross what's said to be 40 bridges. That's right, 40 bridges. Wild backcountry, and hopefully some unforgettable campsites. It's that time of year when the UP starts to glow, fall colors creeping in, crisp air, and that unbeatable peace you only find deep in the woods. So come along, let's explore some pure Michigan beauty 1 mile at a time.
What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another adventure with Rasta Dog and I. Today we are out here in beautiful pure Michigan, and we have just left the town of Wakefield and jumped on the state line trail. I did come out and run this trail last year when I was out exploring the Northeast, and I absolutely love the portion that I did do. So we have come back out this time, working our way up to Core in the Keweenaw Peninsula, and we are going to run the entire state line trail from Wakefield that we just left all the way over to Ironwood, Michigan. This trail does have some mixed reviews of what is allowed on the trail and whatnot, but right here next to me there is a sign that shows that it is open to Jeeps, ATVs, motorcycles, and there is a code on here that you can scan. Takes you to the Department of Resources website, and it gives you a little bit of information there of what's allowed on the trail and whatnot. So we're gonna run this, camp along the way, and see what awesome things we can find, and just explore this route and document the whole thing. So come along with us. It's gonna be a great adventure out here in beautiful, pure Michigan.
The State Line Trail, a 107-mile trail that follows an old railroad right-of-way through Michigan's western Upper Peninsula, a region once rich in red iron ore where the rail line played a vital role in transporting ore and other resources. The iron-rich soil of the area still gives the trail its distinctive reddish color. Because the counties it passes through historically relied on railroad service oriented toward Chicago, they long identified with the Central Time Zone rather than the Eastern, and today the entire trail remains within the Central Time Zone.
Well, we have just pulled into the town of Maricinco. I think that's how it's pronounced, but I'm not 100% sure. A little small town, and looks like a little park here in town that has some history to it. So we have stopped to walk over here and check it out. Well, we are just continuing on the trail here after leaving that little town and going to go off and look for a campsite. There doesn't appear to be any options for camping directly off of the trail, so we are going to have to turn off the trail to go find a campsite. But the trail has been absolutely fantastic. There's nothing technical about it. It is basically just a very, very well graded gravel road that is densely through the forest, crosses over numerous bridges along the route up to this point. But absolutely gorgeous trail. So happy we came back out here to explore this. Well, we have turned off of the state line trail for the evening. Lisa took over driving, and we are going to go off and find a campsite. As I mentioned, there is zero camping available directly off of the trail, so you do have to venture off a little ways to find a campsite, and that is what we're going to do. There's a couple that I have marked from last year when I was out here that we're going to go back and check out, and hopefully they're not overgrown and we can still get back to them. But we're going to get back there and see if we can find an awesome camp tonight. Well, friends, we found a campsite, and it is the exact one I was hoping that was still going to be accessible, and it definitely was. That actually looks a little bit different at that, because they are doing some logging up where you have to turn off the road to come back in here. But check it out. Tonight we are lakeside. This is a spot, the spot that I stayed at last time I was out here, and it is still just as beautiful, even if not more beautiful, because around the lake, you probably can't see it right now, but around the lake you can just start to see all the fall colors coming about on the trees. Absolutely gorgeous. It is very windy currently, but Lisa is over here making chili for dinner, and what better time, because we are in sweaters. I'll probably be in a coat before the end of the night, but we're gonna enjoy some chili, hang out with dogs, hang out with you guys, and enjoy this absolutely magnificent campsite. I'm so glad this place is still accessible. Get it, woo! Oh, he's a kook. He's a kook.
Morning, guys. Well, we had a very stormy night last night. It rained pretty much from the time we went to bed, about 10 o'clock, off and on the whole night, and really thunderstormed early this morning. Dogs were not a fan, but it was a good night otherwise. Very quiet around here. We got everything pretty well packed up, ready to move on, because it looks like there's possibly another storm coming in about 9 o'clock or so this morning. So we got everything packed up as quick as possible and gonna have a breakfast of champions this morning.
This is as good a day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads that lay open are many when the old one's gone under the knife. And I can feel the sun on my skin, beginning to thaw from within. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today is a good day to live.
Well, we have left the camp spot and got on the road to head out, and we did not make it very far. They are loading logs onto the semi right here on the road that you have to drive back in on to get to the campsite. So he let us know that it would probably only be like 20 or 30 minutes for him to get that loaded up, and we took the opportunity to make some coffee because we didn't do that before we left camp. I ain't gonna show you that because everybody shows making coffee, but I will show you them, maybe a time lapse or something of loading up the semi. So, and then we will get on the road, get back over to the State Line Trail, and continue making our way east and see what we can find on this route. So.
The State Line Trail may not have grand views of mountains and valleys, but its beauty shines in a different way. The trail is surrounded by dense wooded forests that feel peaceful and alive, with lakes tucked among the trees and small towns along the way, still busy, still thriving, each one adding a sense of history and community to the journey. It's a reminder that beauty isn't always about dramatic landscapes. Sometimes it's about quiet forest, sparkling waters, and the people who bring the trail to life. As I mentioned yesterday, as we were heading off to find camp for ourselves, there is not very much camping available on, like, directly off the trail, but there is this spot. If you turn off and go back up this way, there is a spot you can camp back up in there. You could probably suit 3 or 4 rigs back in there, maybe, probably pretty tight, but this has been the only one that I have found that is directly off of the trail without having to go back on a side road or something else. But I'm going to mark it on the maps, and that will be on the GPX file that I will have listed for this route. So
first section of the trail there did end and has turned to pavement here for a little bit. It is still marked as the state line trail with signs of where to go, but you do have to continue up on asphalt for a little ways, and then it'll turn back off onto gravel or dirt or something up just shortly up the road here. So we'll see you guys on the dirt in a minute. Well, we have stopped here at one of the small little attractions that is just off of the trail. There's an old grader or plow right here off of the trail. This is private property here, so you can't really go off on the trails either direction. So please respect that if you stop here and check out the old grader. Pretty cool. Well, we have jumped off of the state line trail and are going to venture up the highway a little bit and check out Bond Falls and go take that little hike down there. I have been there before, but Lisa has not been there before, so wanted to show her that and include that on this video, because I think if you're running the state line trail, it is very much worth it to jump off for the 10 minutes drive up the road and check out Bond Falls. So we will see you guys there at Bond Falls. Well, we have found a campsite after leaving Bond Falls, just up the road from there. It was getting to be about 4 o'clock when we left, so we decided to call it an evening from there and set up camp in kind of just this little pull off right here, but far enough off the road that you can hardly be seen back here. It's grassy, room for Rasta Dog and I to run around and play. Lisa is gonna make up dinner, and we're gonna have leftovers with some modifications to last night's chili that we had for dinner. So we're gonna hang out here, and then tomorrow go back down and get back on the state line trail and finish that up. So let's hang out. Give me that stick. We had chili last night, and tonight we mixed in some chicken tenders, and we're gonna put it on tacos, and just have some sour cream, cheese, lettuce on it, and it's like a chili chicken taco burrito, whatever you want to call it. It's what we had to thaw, so that's what we're doing it. Chili chicken tacos. It works.
Pretty darn good.
The following morning, after a rainy night, the trail was shrouded in thick fog, giving everything a fresh, mysterious feel. We got back on the trail at Watersmeet, ready to continue our journey and experience the last portion of the trail. This portion was our favorite, with the most spectacular bridges, with lake views and fall colors surrounding us in every direction. Well friends, that is going to do it for the State Line Trail. We have just arrived in Florence, Wisconsin, and just back here behind us where we came off of the trail, it does end and becomes a ATV only restricted trail. So there's a trail there, but we cannot continue on it from this point. So this is a perfect point to stop just as you're coming into the town of Florence, Wisconsin. But man, that was an awesome trail. Nothing technical about it at all. Just a really, really nice drive through Michigan. And it is definitely pure, beautiful Michigan. What did you think of the trail, Lisa?
I absolutely loved all the fall colors that were around. Like that was an extra special treat I wasn't expecting. And all of the little lakes, like swampy areas. We saw swans. Couldn't really get a very good video of them though, they were too far away, but it was sure beautiful.
Yep. Crosses over just about 40 bridges from what online says. I didn't quite count 40 of them, but there's a lot of them and they're in various conditions, but all of them but one are currently passable. The one where we had to detour looked like they were replacing that bridge, so that should be open later on. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is a seasonal trail, so it closes in December 1st, I believe it was, and opens back up in March after the snow melt. So it does become a snowmobile only trail, but
That'd be so fun.
Yeah. If you have ran this in a snowmobile, please leave a comment and let me know, because riding a snowmobile through that area, it just sounds absolutely stunning.
And include pictures, please.
Yeah, if there was a way to include pictures, I would love to see some. But I hope you guys get the opportunity to come out here and run the State Line Trail. The GPX coordinates for the whole route and a couple places that we stayed for camp will be included on a link in the description. So go ahead and check that out. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video with Lisa, Rasta Dog, and the house cow on this adventure. So come back next time and we will be up in the Keweenaw Peninsula exploring up there. But thank you guys so much, and we'll catch you guys on the next adventure. Bye bye.